All right, guys, what's up? It's Young Americans Abroad back with another episode. My name's Patrick, and welcome to the show. We have a ton to get to from our Americans back at their respective clubs, across Europe and other, regions there and continents. Coming back after a sweet comeback victory over Costa Rica. We really needed that. Started off pretty much a nightmare, right? And then we were able to get those goals. So, and before we get in here, right? Unfortunately, my co-host Austin ABT will unfortunately be out, but he'll be back next week. So bear with me here, guys, in the closet, the little closet in the background. But we'll get that fixed. But nonetheless, right? We have plenty of goals to go through, assists, and even some intriguing transfer rumors, regarding one of our most informed attackers here at the national team. So let's dive into this episode. And the first player we're going to talk about today is none other than Sergiño Dest. So Sergiño had quite the game in a pretty foreign position, you could say. Maybe obviously more familiar when he was younger, right? But he started and played the full 87 in that right wing spot for Barcelona, a 3-1 win against Eunice's Valencia. So American duel going at it. I think they flew back together right after the World Cup qualifying window. So that was sure intriguing. Getting ready for this exciting game in La Liga. But back to Dest, right? So again, he started at right winger. He was ahead of Sergio Roberto, who was playing that right back spot. And then I think De Jong was in the right mid. So it was a 4-3-3 with Depay, Fati, as well as Dest up there. So kind of intriguing there, and it produced some goals here, you could say. Dest had a pretty active game, right? I think he had 7 duels won, 4 dribbles completed there, and then quite an assist there on the third goal. So yeah, he was just very active, very lively. Those dashing runs up the flank. You can see that attacking prowess he offers, right? And then obviously not having too much defensive responsibilities up there in the wings. So some of those flaws that we've seen in the past, for club and country there, defensive liability. I wouldn't necessarily call him that anymore. I certainly think he's improved, but his attacking prowess and just his trickery on the ball and his willing to create things is pretty fantastic. Again, not a direct comparison, but some aspects, right, of a Trent Alexander-Arnold moving forward in that sense, right? Just kind of that modern, wing back, full back type of position there. But yeah, back to the game, right, in that assist. So really, it was, obviously in the end, second half, and had that dashing run up the flank, great sprint into the box, was kind of hurried out by defender, kept his dribble, turned around there, shifted around the defender there, turned him, and then passed it completely through the box, wide open, Coutinho there. I'm not sure if exactly, maybe it was Musa or some of the Valencia defenders, right, that were caught sleeping. Coutinho was wide open, so it was an easy goal for him, but you could see the passion all over his face and how excited he was. So it was a really big win for them, especially where Barca is in the table, going through some pains right here with Koeman, and he's obviously in the hot seat. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they might be in 6th or 7th. Obviously, there's their game back of some opponents there in La Liga, but not the best start, right? So it was great to see him get this crucial 3-1 win, and Dest to be such a big part of it. So Cohen even mentioned, right, he was pretty impressed and pleased with Dest's performance, and obviously he alluded to he knows how to play that winger position. He's done it in the past, so great to see the words from the manager there, along with the rest of the team. But just curious and wanted to get your thoughts as well. Maybe do we see Sergiño for future games here with Barcelona? Does Greg maybe get some ideas? Triple G for the national team. Again, I'm personally in the boat of let's kind of keep him as that attacking, right back for the national team's sake. But I'm kind of curious to see what Barcelona might do. They're in pretty unique, dire situations where they have changed a little bit in terms of the tactics, and it was just interesting to see kind of that combination, right? Up top of those three, and then obviously De Jong bombing forward, someone who's great in terms of interplay and combination in the midfield, and obviously sending Dest up there with his attacking strength. So interesting to see. Great for Sergiño to get an assist, and hopefully more things come his way. And Barcelona continues to get the wins here. So I think they're playing Madrid, the first for the El Clasico. I think that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. And hopefully, Dest can squeak out a goal and assist. That'd be pretty awesome. Now, let's shift over to the Bundesliga and talk about Chris Richards. Quite the turnaround, right? I think within 48 hours playing with Costa Rica, and then was subbed on in the 35th minute here in a 5-0 dominating win they had against Cologne. So Hoffenheim, obviously weren't planning on utilizing Richards, right? Giving him some rest there. He hadn't really been trained at all. And unfortunately, Kader Beck picked up an injury in the midfield. And Richards, again, just on the field and did pretty well, right? You'd be a little bit worried in terms of not being back with that team there. The rest, how are the legs going to be? Obviously, he's a young player. But Richards was a rock back there. A lot of great blocks in play, holding that line. I think you can see the corner too, but nothing serious, right? And I believe Cologne had 10 shots, but none on goal. I think I looked up those stats there. So, Hoffenheim just dominated, offensively there, and really kept Cologne at bay. So obviously, it's not the best team they played. Nonetheless, a win is a win. So I think even Richard said the coaching staff, his teammates, there's a lot of prep even without the training that he really knew the game plan, was able to execute, and really said that afterwards in interviews, right? And recap there on the website and the team's website. So really good to see him just go in there. Hopefully that they can continue that momentum. I think they're in 9th in the Bundesliga, so not a bad place to be, right? Climbing a few more spots. Maybe they can be on the fringes of the Europa League. We'll see, but that's fantastic. I mean, Richards is just doing it all, right? That we've echoed and we've said. Austin stated right. If you want to get more of that Americans in the Bundesliga content, he's got the Bund Americans. So just a quick plug there. But yeah, Richards has looked fantastic. And again, it was great to see him get some game time for the national team. I think he is going to be one of our center backs there for many cycles to come. So, great things there. Just want to quickly mention that game that he subbed on with, I think it was a 48-hour window, which is pretty impressive there. So kudos to Chris, and let's keep the momentum going. Now, another player that we want to talk about is Antonee Robinson over with Fulham, right, in the championship. So obviously the 24-year-old defender is given a breather, right, from that starting 11 after traveling, again, 2 days prior across the Atlantic. But similar to Richards, right, called into action in the 58th minute when Joe Bryan suffered an injury. I think the game was 1-1 at that point. But, Robinson came in, made a huge difference, huge impact to keep QPR off the scoreboard the rest of the way, and then had an impact in those 2 goals, really made a difference. So ultimately being a 4-1 win, which is fantastic. I think that keeps them third. It's pretty tight there. I think they might be tied at third, so I have to double check the standings. But nonetheless, going through the timelines here a little bit, right? In the 67th minute, Robinson started that scoring sequence. Mitrovic's second goal of the match. Feeding, I think, Ivana from the left side there. And then he found Mitrovic, which made it 2-1. So nice to see him kind of in that build-up play, right? Again, going forward, one of those guys on the opposite side, right, that we were just talking about Dest before, that can lend a hand in the attacking, final third, which is fantastic with outside backs you need. Now, when they're leading 3-1, right, and towards the stoppage time, Robinson actually got his first goal of the season, a long-range blast that deflected off a defender there and past Dieng, the goalkeeper. And then even during the celebration, right, he was pumped, emphatic, and announced some exciting news where he put his right thumb in his mouth, had the ball under his shirt, right, announcing that him and his wife were expecting their first child. So a lot of wins for Robinson, right, in this U.S. World Cup qualifying window, being a true difference maker there. Coming back, Fulham's in good standings here, and then obviously, with him and his wife, we wish them all the best. Pretty good things here to round out Antonee's 2021. So, let's keep that going. And again, can't forget to mention Tim Reen, obviously a part of the full America defensive line there. So great 4-1 win for them. The Americans back there, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Antonee does. He's in really great form. Obviously, there was the Milan, different rumors back then, and um, I'm wondering if maybe they'll come about in the following season. I feel like Fulham's in a pretty good spot where they're putting themselves in the best place possible to get back up to the EPL. But I'm curious to see if maybe some of those Italian or other leagues, right, might come calling for Robinson's services. So his stock is rising. I think that's somebody that obviously, when you're talking overall perspective, right, Pepi, some of these other players, right, they're just hot form. Robinson, I would almost put it more on the quieter side, right? Has really improved his stock there and just solidified his spot. So really exciting to see, and great to see him get impact with two of the goals there, right? Building up there and then getting his goal. So congrats to Antonee. Now we're going to switch over to Italy and talk about one of these exciting aids, Gianluca Busio for Venezia, and we're filming. I'm filming today on Monday, where they just had a fantastic 1-0 win over Fiorentina. A huge win. I think that puts them in 15th place, right above the relegation zone. That was crucial at home. The fans were going crazy there, and Busio played a huge part. So he started and played the full 90, right? Again, I think he had 24 or 29 passes connected there. A lot of progressive passes, which I saw. Just building the attack and being at the right spots, getting up the field, more box-to-box work too, which is exciting. And even won a few tackles and got that assist for the goal. Even before that, he actually had some great balls, lofting over the back line, which the attacker, I think, scuffed the shot. But then again, he ended up doing a pretty similar ball across, caught that back line off, and the Venetian attacker who received the ball over top played a square ball across to an open goal. So it was fantastic to see, him in that build-up. So he's just looked great in possession, very confident driving forward. Like I said, some of his progressive passes and being a little bit, shifty with his work and getting in those good spots is crucial. Those pockets of space to find and connect to the attackers. So you saw him even charging in, during build-ups or corners or crosses into the box, that he was right there with the forwards and strikers. So really great to see Gianluca feeling more confident with himself and growing game by game in Serie A. He's had a tremendous step, and again, nice to see a little cameo, right, against Costa Rica. So hopefully we'll see more of that. He's really developing a player that we can rely on, and he's doing a fantastic job. I just don't see, if he keeps up this form momentum, right, it's early to say, but I would not be surprised if another Serie A team comes calling, maybe, in the top 9 or 10, right, in the standings there. So not saying, right, he's going to go to a Juventus or a Napoli or Inter, right, but he has some quality. And I think people kind of wrote him off a little bit before, and somebody that we just really have to watch. He's really come a long way so far. Obviously, he still needs to work. There's a few moments in that game where he was kind of bullied or pushed off the ball, didn't shield it properly well, and kind of lost it in crucial spots in the midfield, towards the back line, in between the back four, right, in the midfield. So just had to be careful in some of those moments, but that will come, right, game by game, as he gets exposed to more Serie A and more minutes in the league. And now, we want to shift over to kind of our final topic here. Talk about some transfer rumors, right? What's a show without transfer rumors? And Ricardo Pepi. So Pepi looks like, as of recent, I think it was reported by Chris Smith, approached the FC Dallas front office to request a transfer away. So want to dive more into that, right? As we go, you drop some comments if you know more than myself, or Austin, right? You're trying to put the pieces together as we go with the reports. But obviously, there's been some reps met with Ajax, but looks like he might have agreed to personal terms with Wolfsburg, the Bundesliga giants there in the club, and even some EPL and Serie A interest sprinkled in there. Obviously, those not as concrete there. I think Sampdoria might be mentioned too, but Wolfsburg's interesting. And again, we got to get Austin's take, right? He knows Wolfsburg a little bit better than myself, but just from my overall knowledge, right? I think Wolfsburg is. I don't know if I love it. I honestly would prefer maybe Ajax or some other of the options as they come about, but Wolfsburg has, I think it's Lucas Mencha, the ex-Man City lad, U21. I think he's played with England and Germany there. 22-year-old forward who gets some quality minutes, as well as Wolfsburg having, I think it's Wout Weghorst, one of the veterans. So it's not going to be guaranteed. It's not going to be easy. They're a team that's in sixth, right out of that Europa spot, always battling for kind of that Champions League, Europa League. But again, I mean, Pepi's in great form. He just all the qualities that he possesses is just amazing. I guess my only concern would be, go over in a situation like that, maybe not getting as many minutes as he has with FC Dallas right during the potential, right? I'm not jinxing, I'm knocking on some wood, but with the Qatar coming up and just this crucial stretch of World Cup qualifiers to even get to Qatar, right? That's key. I just wouldn't want to see his club playing time diminished. But again, maybe it's more too conservative thinking. You need to be a little bit more, all for, Pepe taking his talents there, trusting that he's going to grind, which we know he can, and win the starting jobs. But something about Ajax I just like a little bit better. So, stay tuned on that. Again, not against Wolfsburg. If you all know a little bit more about the Wolfsburg attack or what your thoughts are there, we'd love to hear them in the comments below. So, that's all for the main portion, this main segment today. And let's head over to our last segment, quick kicks. All right, guys, it's my favorite part of the show. I know it's yours. I know it's Austin's. So let's get into it. It's none other than quick kicks. And to start off with quick kicks, we're going to be talking about Zach Steffen. Got the nod for Manchester City, right? In a crucial 2-0 win over Burnley. So Ederson Wright forced a quarantine returning from Brazil. So it was great to see Steffen, and Guardiola had some kind words for him. So it's great to see him get some game time in the league. Hopefully more to come there, but it's tough at a place like Man City. Now we'll head over to Christian Cappy, right? He came in the game on the 63rd minute with Brøndby down 2-1. And in the 87th minute, he hit his strike, right, to give the club a 3-2 win. So good things happened. They turned it around. Awesome for Christian there. Now, Joe Scally got the start again. Not surprised, right, for Borussia Mönchengladbach. And a 1-1 draw against VfB Stuttgart, a team, again, managed by Pellegrino Matarazzo. Great to see Sally go in 81 minutes. It's fantastic. He's just getting more and more game time, and he should be with the U.S. in November. Now, Tim Weah might be a little bit gassed out, right? Wasn't able to really get much going this game. Lille lost 1-0 to Claremont Foot, and Weah did start and play 71 minutes, but really only had one shot over 23 touches. So hopefully just get some rest, and Timo will be back. We know he'll be back. Now, Josh Sargent with Norwich City. They hosted Brighton and Hove Albion, looking for their first win of the Premier League season still. And Josh did start. He's getting some minutes there and found himself in some solid areas, but his finishing did let him down. So they did play to a 0-0 draw. And hopefully Josh can put the ball in the back of the net sooner than later here. Now, Conrad de la Fuente for Marseille. He got the start against Lorient and looked closer, right, to getting back on track there. Solid game and a 4-1 win. He had some great moments for dribbling, so it's awesome to see him back in the starting rotation after some time not starting, and hopefully can continue the momentum. And over in Spain, right, we covered Dest before, but Yunus Musa also played in that game. He came on in the 75th minute there in that tough loss to Barcelona. Now, Johnny Cardoso made his first start since August for Internacional this past Sunday in a 1-0 loss to Palmeiras. So Cardoso did play the 70 minutes, right? And they did fall to seventh in Brazil's Serie A, but great to see Johnny, back starting. And heading over to Portugal, right, with Alex Mendes. He scored for Vizela in a 2-0 win over Vitoria there, de Setúbal, in that Portuguese Cup. So really great to see Mendes, back on the score sheet. Continue to do good things and keep grinding over there, Alex. And also in the Portuguese Cup, Reggie Cannon, finally. I haven't talked about him in a while in club. Made his first appearance of the season for Boavista and a tough 4-0 loss to Rio Ave. But Cannon did start and play 66 minutes, left with the score 1-0. And last but not least, our boy here, Ulianes, right? Scored and assisted for St. Polten in a 5-1 win in Austria's second tier on this past Friday. So is his second goal of the season and continue to do good things, Yuli. So guys, thank you so much for watching this episode, tuning in. Make sure you like this video, right? And subscribe down below. And also don't forget, Instagram, Twitter, stay up to date with all your American news on social media. You're constantly posting there. So you don't want to miss that at all. And if you haven't heard, right, we also have that merch store going. Awesome shirts, mugs, glasses, things like that. You really want to get those 2026 or bust shirts. Our merch store has it all. And lastly, right, like you can watch this YouTube video, right? But if you need to mow the lawn, you're on a commute, right? We're also in podcast form, right? Spotify and Apple, etc., right? You can check us out on those platforms and listen to it on a long commute back. So, we did have some players called, right, into action, or just getting back from that international window there, the World Cup qualifying window, excuse me. A lot of players still recovering, right, from injuries. But a lot of players really cementing their spots with their clubs, getting some goals, assists, more starts. Heading into November, right? We have that Mexico game, Jamaica. Again, I hate to take Austin's line here, right? But all this momentum, we're building up here for one thing only, and that is to win that elusive World Cup.